welcome to bonus content. This is episode 24A, season
Nailed
2.
it.
Zerelda. I'm joined by Joe. Hi Joe, how you doing? You
Hello.
alright? You okay?
Yes, I'm as equally unprepared as Paul for this intro.
So, so the purpose of these sessions, we've got this one today. I've got one lined up with Carrion on Friday, and then a week today, got one lined up with Aldred. So it's about an hour or so. Just a bit of RP that is kind of one-to-one, rather than having to kind of bog down the mainstream. So I was about to say, so these sessions happen after the main recording. So this has happened after the last session that we streamed, which hasn't actually been edited and released yet. But anyway, so you guys are up in Waterdeep. You've met the black stuff, all that kind of stuff has happened, and you got, I think, awarded with an honorary sergeant of the Dungsweepers Guild.
I did.
Yes,
Woo!
that's right. So the investiture ceremony is in about a week's time, give or take, and it is formal attire.
Okay. And what constitutes formal attire?
So you would be expected, you'd expected to be wearing kind of like a high-end dress, probably, for Zerelda. So cocktail gown style. And you and a +1 have been invited to the Dungsweepers Hall for the formal investiture. And the card, that kind of like the invite card, was beautiful. It was kind of, really lovely calligraphy, very formal language. Hereby invited to the investiture ceremony to be held on the 10th of the month, which never got remember.
Okay. So the invite was on the 1st of the month, and it's in 10 days' time.
Deep winter, because it is basically the equivalent of January, and it's freezing. Okay. Incredibly cold.
I best go and buy a dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really something Zerelda carries around.
How much money do you have, by the way?
Oh, God. Not a lot. Actually, I think I've got more than I realised. It's about 150 gold, something like that. Surely enough for a dress, Paul.
Yeah, depends what kind of quality. 243 gold do you have, according to Fantasy Grounds.
Yes, that matches my D&D Beyond.
Does it?
It's not loaded yet. Actually, it does.
Oh, okay. I'll let you off. Okay.
So I want a nice dress.
Okay, so you kind of head over to through the cold, and I do want to stress the cold and the ice. Very few people are out and about. It's like a deep winter, quite thick snow on the ground. Fen and Ode are staying, I think, at the Troll School Manor with you. Basically, sleeping and farting and heading out at night is their goal. You kind of trudge through to the trades ward and find a reasonable kind of middle tier, you would imagine, dressmaker. A lot of them are shut or just by appointment only. So you talk to one of the apprentices who arranges for you to get an appointment with the master, and then the next day you're kind of shown through into the lounge area, a lovely appointed lounge, kind of roaring log fire, kind of warming it all in. Do you know when you walk out from outside into a room warmed by a log fire, and it just feels quite warm as you're gathered around that? There's a small table, occasional table, and a couple of chairs, and then like a little stool. It's pretty nice in here. Outside, away from the fire, it gets quite cold quite quick. And they're bringing out, from what looks to be storage, different types of fabric for you to be kind of looking at. And as you stood there, there's a couple of apprentices kind of measuring you, and the master dressmaker. So what is the ceremony? What kind of style are you looking for, madam?
What kind of colours do the people of the guild seem to wear?
Good question.
Or what colours would be in their standard? Or
The Dungsweeper's Guild of Waterdeep. It doesn't say, but I'm gonna say it's green, so kind of like emerald green and a deep brown colour.
lovely. Okay, so I think I will take the emerald green and the dark scarlet red that I've sort of chosen for my amulet's crystal colour. That has my link to mask a dress that is in those kind of colours, corseted, well fitting, with a little bit of a. I mean, can you tell that I wanted to be a bride one day? With a little bit of floof at the bottom, but nothing over the top. I mean, Serjeant, what's that? Middling.
It's it's an honorary title, really. So you're not expected to undertake the duties of the guild, but you have some kind of like influence and responsibilities there, so to speak.
Okay. So yeah, fancy as fuck then. Yeah, just probably in keeping with. I mean, would I have seen many styles down there? They're not going to be wearing dresses all the time, are they?
No. I don't think Zerelda particularly keeps a finger on the fashion pulse.
No, not really. So yeah, something tight fitting at the top, a bit like her armor would be, but down below something a little bit floofy, I guess.
Okay, I'll pretend I know what you mean by floofy.
Well, like that kind of a shape.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
There is probably a word, and I've no idea.
Isn't it like a bell dress or a gable dress or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I've got a fucking clue. Anyway, okay, yep. So they take the measurements, okay, and then you select out the fabric that you kind of want to have. There's one which is like a beautiful iridescent kind of set of colours, but that's quite expensive. That would probably be around about 30 gold for a finished item. The middle tier would probably be about 20 gold, but it's more velvet than it is kind of like iridescent silk. Depends how much you want to spend.
What kind of people would be likely to attend? What
the Dungsweepers? So
it's not going to
tend to be lower class. Yeah.
We'll go for the cheaper option then.
Okay, so it's 20 gold, 10 gold up front, then 10 gold upon kind of acceptance.
Okay.
And you go back.
What day will I be receiving?
They don't have much work on, so they can do it in about 3 days.
Okay.
Do you want to do anything in particular in the rest of the time?
Yeah, I need to make a new bed.
Make a fair point. Yeah. Okay. Get yourself some.
Probably spend a day chopping some firewood if it's cold.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a plus one to my strength. Thanks, Paul.
I can't remember.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, was it Grand Theft Auto 4? Where if you exercised in the gym, it got your physical stats up.
Yes.
And if you ate too many fast food, you got a bit too fat.
Yeah, it's like The Sims.
Yeah. So I'm drinking 0% beer.
Oh, I'm drinking fat-free 7-Up.
Oh, pretty good.
I don't know what I was holding that up to.
Okay, so yeah, you do chores, I guess. The dress arrives. The dress looks fabulous. It's a really good quality for the money that you pay, so it's really good value. And then the kind of like the evening kind of rolls around, and you get one of the hansom cabs down to kind of the Dungsweepers Guild hall. There's two places where the Dungsweepers Guild are mainly kind of based. There's Fishgut Court, which is where most of the work happens when they get all the waste together. That's then taken out to the Rat Hills as a dumping ground. And then there's the Dungsweepers Guild, which is in the Trades Ward, which is a fairly squat, not particularly great looking building, but there's a surprising amount of activity, and everybody's in their Sunday best. Even though these are the salt of the earth kind of like characters, they've all made an effort to kind of like dress up. Yours is fine in comparison to what they've been able to kind of like muster together, but there are a number of standout individuals who are wearing some quite fantastic outfits. Clearly some there's a couple of mages. There's about 4 clerics who are in their full religious regalia of one of Lathander with beautiful bright oranges and yellows and this kind of like flamed hood which is trimmed with kind of like an illusion of burning fire at the top. There's one individual in a really sharp, what would be kind of like, if you think of Age of Enlightenment kind of like dress, that's the kind of like fashion, almost Victorian, early Victorian suits, looking very, very sharp, kind of like greyed hair, pepper hair, quite short but kind of like swept across at the front. Very, very kind of like tight, very lithe build underneath, carrying a piece bound rapier at one side, and then there's another lady dressed in a very similar outfit to yourself, and they've got kind of like chains. Kind of all of those have got kind of like chains coming around with similar to the Dungsweepers Guild on the front of them. As you're kind of like get out of your cab, one of the ushers comes straight over to you, bows low. The lady Zerelda. Come, we've got you the table of honour. I know you kind of showing up, and there's a set of kind of in very formal regalia. Garb, kind of with halberds, and opposite those they've got essentially wooden brushes. They kind of stand to attention as you're kind of showing up, and everybody kind of like stops and pauses and just lowers their head slightly as you kind of showing up the steps into the main hall. The usher leans in there, Lady Zerelda. Lady Zerelda to be appointed honorary sergeant of the guild, and the whole place kind of calms down. It's like it's if you were to do a big kind of like champagne party on a budget, it's kind of like that. So everybody's in the finery, everybody's well dressed up, and there's like fluted glasses, and the servants carry with all on trays and stuff. But it's all kind of like done with budget in mind.
It's like mine on a Friday night.
Yeah, and you take a glass of a sparkling wine, which is actually quite citrusy. It's a Tetherian wine you're explained to, and then you're shown to the guildmaster, who kind of like bows quite low and says, yes, great. Lady Zerelda, you're to be inducted as an honorary sergeant of the guild. Yes. So, what will happen is we'll be having a meal. You'll be sat at the top table along with the other sergeants of the guild. Then we'll be presenting you with your chain of office. There's no expectation that you make a speech. There'll be just a standard vow to enter to the guild, and then ceremonially there'll be the entrance cost, and then we'll call upon the elder Dungsweepers to vouch for you, and of course it'll be the other honorary sergeants that will vouch for you on your behalf, and then you'll be inducted, and after that you'll be able to go into the sergeant's lounge. And enjoy yourself there. It's just a mere formality tonight, but it's good. It allows us to invest all of our new members at this time of year. So, do you have any questions?
No questions. I would just like to say that I am so humbled and honoured to be here.
Oh well, yeah, I'm very pleased to hear that. Very pleased to hear that. Let me introduce you to the other honorary sergeants, and he kind of takes you over to this gaggle of well dressed, powerful looking figures, all of which you're looking at them. They're clearly some form of adventurers in their own right. He takes you up to the guy in the suit, in the tight fitting suit. Honorary sergeants, and he bows low, and they kind of bow back. This is going to be Lady Zerelda. She's going to be the newest of your members. Until we get ready for the formalities, if you would be so kind as to escort her, she clearly would not know many of our membership. And the figure steps forward. This, yeah, of course, I'll do that. I'm James.
Well, howdy, James. Nice to meet you.
So very good to meet you too. That's Roger over there, Cynthia, Agnes, and Bagnus. We're all honorary sergeants. So, how was your time down in Undermountain?
Oh, well, you know how Undermountain can be.
Yes. Part of being an honorary sergeant is that you've traversed Undermountain.
Yes, we ran into many folk down there, mainly some drows. You know how it is.
Yeah.
They caused us a little bit of a problem, but nothing we couldn't handle.
Which levels of Undermountain did you visit?
Oh, well, now you're really asking.
A couple of the others gather around and they're kind of like sipping their wine.
Third?
Yeah, Skullport.
And fourth?
No, not fourth.
Second?
Yeah. The goblin. Sure, you met Jareth, the king of the goblin palace then.
We did indeed.
That's interesting. Did you have any troubles with him? He's a strange. One of them leans forward and says, "He's a strange character."
That he is.
Yes.
But I think he was most grateful for our assistance.
What did you do to assist him?
We cleared some roots through.
Yeah, okay. Sure, it's good. And the drow on the third level, are they still there?
Well, we cleared an awful lot of them drow out. But, they can be tricksy. They could come back at any time.
That's right. Now, when you become an honorary sergeant, you'll have access to the sergeant's lounge. That's where a lot of us just hang. You see, it might seem a bit silly, but being a sergeant at the Dungsweepers Guild, that's essentially they're honouring you for your time in Undermountain. The Dungsweepers Guild is the closest. The honorary sergeants were the closest to an adventuring guild in Waterdeep. So there's about 20 of us. Not all of us can come at the moment. They only invite 6 to vouch for another member. But you'll be part of the club. We've got special services that you can get from within if your own adventuring part is not able to provide them. So you can get some identification magics. There's some resurrection that will be able to be provided if you need that kind of thing. And also you can call upon us. Each of us has had varying experiences in Undermountain. So we kind of know a little bit. I've been down to the 12th level, not any further than that though, and I would say that we kind of skipped quite a lot of the levels in between.
I see.
So you probably were a bit surprised when you were invited to join the Dungsweepers Guild.
I must say it was not expected.
Yes, well, we don't want to advertise the fact that there's an adventuring guild that, so we just attach ourselves there. And as the guild master would say, the Undermountain is just basically the sewers, but times 10.
So, the sewers thing, that is a bit of a cover?
Well, the normal Dungsweepers Guild, they just go through the sewers. But, in the honorary sergeants, we're the people who go below the sewers. So we take We
see.
take our dung sweeping seriously. We turn it up to the max, and there's a few nods behind. It goes up to
And
11. No, there's more than 11 levels in Undermountain.
I am assuming that we don't actually sweep the dirt.
Oh no, we kill the monsters, take the loot. That's what we do. We're protecting Waterdeep from a lot of rubbish down there that Halaster's dumping underneath us. So it's all a little bit tongue in cheek.
I see. Do you happen to know of much of the levels down there? You say you've been to 12. Where haven't you been?
Well, I see. We made quite a lot of progress through gates of Halaster's gates. But if you were to check in with various members of the honorary sergeants, I'm sure that we'd be able to tell you at least what it was like when we was there. There's some maps. You were at the Goblin Bazaar. You'll have probably met Wally the cartographer. Well, if you show him your seal and he shows you the chain, then you'll get a discount and he won't give you the crap maps. He'll give you the actual maps. But the problem is, of course, Zerelda, as you may be aware, Halaster, the Mad Mage, he changes Undermountain quite a lot. Not so much its actual layout, but the contents. So if I went down to, say, you were in the 3rd level, well, when I was in the 3rd level, there was no drow. It was wall-to-wall add-ins. You could not move for them. Halaster, he manipulates the situation. He kind of, will introduce creatures. It's changes, is what we're saying. So we can give you some maps, perhaps, and some guidance. We can certainly talk to you about the nature of the gate that led you to traverse from level to level or down the river. Because to get to the 4th level, the easiest way is to just go down to the 3rd level and follow the river down. And the 5th level, you just keep on down the river, I think, is what you got to do. So the stuff like that we can help you with, but it might not be current.
What is typically on the 5th level?
That's a very good question. Now, let's have a little. One of the figures steps forward and says, on the 5th level, I think I was the most recent one to the 5th level. And the Sean kind of steps back a little bit. And he says, let me just check my notes. Right here. The 5th level is what we called the Willow Wood. It was quite a respite, in fact. And so long as you are comfortable dealing with beings of nature, then you will be fine. It is as if a forest has grown in the undergrowth, and Halaster is keeping that. It seems that he has got a soft spot for Willow, a Moonelf druid that resides there.
I see. That is very helpful. And the druid you talk about, who is he?
She.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, it's Willow. So it is a sad tale, as I understand. She was in love with a wizard who was in league with Halaster, a wizard called Yenag. And she returned to Undermountain, but then Yenag got quite controlling and refused to allow her to return to the surface, and their relationship became poisoned, and there was a violent event upon which Willow's fury killed Yenag, and her grief has been substantial since then.
So she just resides down there, what, grieving?
Grieving and tending her grove. She is a worshipper of Maleki, so she is trying to ensure that the forest invokes the spirit of Maleki. There's also a green dragon who is a ally of the druid.
Oh, I see. A young dragon, an old dragon. Have you seen the dragon?
It's a large dragon. I would say it is more young, if I had to classify it. One of the figures stepped forward. Well, when I was there was a magical emanation from the dragon's head, consistent with the aura that one would find from a very powerful sentient weapon. I think that this may have some some impact upon the creatures, changing its normal evil alignment to more in tune with the worship of Maleki. Well, I did not know that. You see, this is this kind of stuff that we find out through our little kind of group here. So, whilst we don't adventure together, we'd like to share information for Underman and Curse. Part of being an honorary servant of a Dungsweeper's Guild is that you kind of have to share to kind of aid the cleansing of those sewers to the max, as they say. The guildmaster's signaling us now, so let's get the formalities over with, and then maybe we can head back to the lounge a little bit later. You've got a problem with your dress; it's a little bit fluffy down there. I think it's good style though.
Oh, why, thank you. I don't believe I have an issue with my dress.
Oh, it's just the way you were looking down at yourself down there. It just looked a little strange, that was all.
Just getting my legs shredded, it's fine.
Yeah, so oh my gosh, you've got a familiar. Oh, your familiar wants a little bit of attention. I say, Zerelda, why are you talking to your screen and not to me? I got to show you my ass. Anyway, so Sean takes you kind of like by the arm and kind of leads you to your seat, and you're sat on an elevated platform at the front, and there's several hundred Dungsweeper Guild members laid out in like long platforms, and the food is served, and the food is really good quality given that it's winter and this is quite a large kind of like meal. It's more than passable. It's warm, it's hearty. The wine is served a different wine with each course. At least at the top table, you notice that the lower tables have less quality than you're receiving. And as the night kind of comes on, the guildmaster kind of clears his throat. It is time for us to honour our newest members. Before we do the investiture for the standard members, we have a new member joining us as an honorary sergeant. It's like people banging on the table. Hey! Quiet down. The Blackstaff herself recommended Zerelda to become an honorary sergeant in the Dungsweepers Guild. Do we have any elder Dungsweepers who can vouch for her? And the kind of 6 adventurers kind of like stand. Aye, we vouch. Aye, so on and so forth. Well, great. Lady Zerelda, if you would raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Zerelda.
I, Zerelda.
Honorary Sergeant of the Dungmasters Guild.
Honorary Sergeant of the Dungmasters Guild.
Dungsweepers Guild, sorry.
Sweepers Guild, even, yeah.
I swear that I will keep the city free from excess waste and refuse.
That I will keep the city free of excess waste and refuse.
Where I see dung collecting, I shall remove it.
Where I see dung collecting, I will remove it.
I shall report any dangerous dung to the guild for further treatment.
I will report any dangerous dung to the guild for further treatment.
I shall report any dangers that I find within my patrol of the sewers to the City Watch for their cognizance and treatment.
I shall report any dangers I find within the sewers to the City Watch for their dealing with it.
Yeah. Any valuables that I find, I will turn over to the Guildmaster so that the profits may be split between. Any valuables I find within Waterdeep sewers, I will return to the Guildmaster to be split fairly between me and the Guild.
Any treasures, did you say?
Any valuables.
Any valuables found within the Waterdeep, I will return to the Guild to be split for the benefit of everyone.
And then as Honorary Sergeant, I shall venture forth into Undermountain to cleanse the deepest of Waterdeep sewers.
And as an Honorary Sergeant, I will venture into the deepest parts of Undermountain to cleanse the deepest parts of The sewers, Waterdeep sewers.
So say I, Zerelda, honorary sergeant of the guild of the Dungsweepers Guild.
So say I, Zerelda, honorary sergeant of the Dungsweepers Guild.
Everybody kind of like applause. Bravo,
In
bravo.
future, write that up.
I was just making it
Then
up.
send it.
He leans forward and says, "Oh, by the way, you don't need to declare valuables from within Undermountain. It's just the normal sewers."
Good.
And then you sit down and kind of like, and there's about 50 new members that are kind of like invested. They all swear group oath, which is very similar to what we just did. And then kind of like it starts to dissipate away. People start to gather off, and the guildmaster stands and says, "You're free to mingle now. And shall we just go back into the honorary sergeant's guild, into the lounge?" And then Usher takes you through, and you're shown into a room which is about standard pub size, I guess. Not particularly large, but it's very, very sumptuous. Incredibly well laid out. It's like a really fine gentleman's club. Essentially, there's a small private bar. There's a couple of kind of ushers there. There are really fine foods on the side. There's a reasonably well stocked library, kind of like at the back. And then just come through here with me. And you're taken into what's best described as like an adventurer's armory. There's the normal weapons that you would expect to find. There's a load of weird and wacky kind of like equipment, and then there's like a assault course for training. This is where you can train, and if you go through the back there's a space where there's a spell range and a crossbow range and all that kind of stuff. It's really set up for adventurers if you want to come and hone some skills. All of the books are manuals on the kind of spelunking capabilities that you would need if you were to be going into Undermountain. We don't keep any valuables here, but if you kind of ask, I'm the kind of current steward of this lounge. If you ask, then we might be able to find you some things. So feel free to ask. And you kind of while away. Quite a pleasant evening with these guys, exchanging kind of like tales and stories and all about Undermountain and the times within Undermountain, and that kind of stuff. Is there any particular way in which you want to direct the conversation?
There is at some point a magical item I would like to see if it'd be possible to get hold of. I can't cast invisibility at all. No, I can do lesser, but invisibility I don't think is on my spell list.
Okay, I would have thought you'd have got that as a cleric.
I don't even know that you get it coming up. Yeah, I'm not sure I get it as one of.
No, you don't. No, you're absolutely right. You don't. You get at 6th level though. You can use your channel divinity for Cloak of Shadows.
Oh, does that make me invisible?
Yeah, become invisible until the end of your next turn. So it's not quite as good as the invisibility spell.
So like 6 seconds,
basically. So anyway, so what do you want? You're after a magical item that would make you invisible.
Oh, you've gone silent.
Are you after a magical item that would make you invisible?
Yes, like a cloak or something that would allow me to use that effect. Maybe once a day or more.
So you're asking him whether you could get a hold of one?
Yes.
Well, I got to say. Let's have a little think now.
Because you know Undermountain, it's a dangerous place, and sometimes a lady just likes to get by without being interrupted.
Yes, I can totally understand that. Let's have a little think. See, let's just have a kind of little look at this. Well. It's a legendary item, so that's going to be quite difficult to get hold of.
Oh,
We can certainly put the word out to see what we can find, but I don't think it's going to happen in this session.
I will pray on that.
Well, I hear. Who would you be praying to, Zerelda?
So you always ask a lady such personal questions.
Well, I'm just interested to know what your skills and capabilities are.
Well, maybe you'll find out. I have a little bit of ability as a healer, but in a former life I was a fighter.
Well,
You might call me an enigma.
I got to say, Zerelda, that sounds rather interesting. I quite like a good enigma myself. But I'll let you keep your enigmaosity about you for the moment. But we'll go and see what we can do about this cloak of invisibility. I'm sure that there must be one in the city, and it's only, I guess whoever you pray to, maybe they'll be able to provide. I don't know. The way of clerics is beyond my simple mind. So
well,
anyway,
he does provide.
And then there's an element of small talk into the early hours of the morning. Everybody gets a bit drunk, but this is a really convivial kind of like atmosphere. So we're normally here. You might if you just hang in, there maybe be one or two of us here at any one time, and you can use any of the gear here just to show us your insignia. The stewards and the ushers will know who you are anyway. But I'm gonna go and hit the shack. I'll show you.
One question before I do go.
What's that, Zerelda?
Does my new status allow me to bring any guests down here?
You can have one guest that you have to shine in each time, and that guest is your responsibility.
I see. And I'm allowed to wander the sewers freely at my disposal.
Oh, absolutely, yes. That's just part of being a Dungsweeper.
That is so lovely. Thank you for your time today.
Well, you're welcome. Welcome to the honorary sergeants.
I look forward to seeing you around. Maybe even in Undermountain. Who knows?
Quite possibly. Well, I've got an expedition coming up as it happens, but we're just waiting to see what might pan out with a couple of the members. They're off in Neverwin dealing with some personal side quest stuff that I didn't want to get involved in. I had to skip a few sessions, you see, because childcare. So, anyways, I'll see you around.
Well, bye now.
Goodbye. So yeah, you head back to Trollskull Manor, kind of like filled with the joys of being an honorary sergeant at the Dungsweepers Guild.
Is there lodgings at the guild?
No, there are no lodgings.
There aren't. That's a shame. I wouldn't have had to have made a bed then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know where there might be an opportunity to take a visit in the sewers with Seat at some point.
But you've got some spores from him, haven't you? As I recall, he's not here, but you've got the sort of spores, and he wanted you to kind of go to the sewers with those.
I thought I needed to take him with me. Okay, well that makes life easier.
I may be retconning it.
Right. It could be me. My memory's terrible. Okay, well, I'll probably wait till the middle of the night and head back to the sewers.
Okay, so over the next night then, because you were getting tanked up and such like then. So, okay, yeah. You in the cover of darkness.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, so
Um,
there's a sewer entrance quite close to Trollskull Manor.
yes, that
Look
will
at it.
be my point of entry.
Yeah. Okay.
Did I get a map of the sewers as part of my guild membership?
There was one in the or a partial one in the honorary sergeant's lounge that you could have kind of like tried to look at.
Okay. So I'll probably head towards somewhere that's a ways away from Trollskull Manor
Hmm.
through the sewers.
So in the map that you had, one of the areas was marked as being very damp. Kind of like don't head down there, disused, kind of very damp, dangerous spores, dangerous kind of like molds and whatnot. It was marked. There's special symbols that they use to mark these kinds of stuff off. Usually they'll send a crew down to clear it out, but it was quite a large area, and that's. You think you can remember your way to kind of like get there?
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly where I'll head.
Yeah, okay. So it'll take you about half an hour of kind of like down the sewers.
These babies, aren't
I don't know.
they? Oh. I hope so.
And as you kind of like yeah, you can see in the dark, can't you? Yeah, you're half elf. As you kind of
Yeah.
like get towards this area that you kind of like, you know, a couple of times you kind of have to just hide yourself, which you do, you know, really easily from Dungsweeping kind of like groups kind of clearing out and stuff. Um, and you get into this area and you can feel a musty kind of like smell, and you can see kind of like mold, green kind of like mold, quite thick, gathering around the sewer pipe. And there's like mushrooms kind of like coming down from the ceiling. They're almost like reaching out for you as you're kind of walking in, and it feels quite cold. And there's kind of like red cap mushrooms, quite a lot of them, and there's kind of like beetles and kind of rats scurrying around, starting predominantly chewing on these red caps. And it gets the standing water and marsh. You kind of put your foot onto what you think is solid ground, and it kind of like goes through into really cold kind of like water, and you kind of like lift it up, and your boots quite wet through. And then there's an eerie glow, and the room opens out to quite a large opening, and it's lit by kind of mosses and stuff. And there were these what look to be stool shaped mushrooms there. And then there's this quite large fungal growth kind of to one side. And as you kind of step in there, who's that out there? And this humanoid figure kind of like detaches itself from this big kind of like fungus and starts to kind of lean over, and it's got kind of mushrooms kind of growing on it. It's got, as it gets closer in the light, mank hair kind of like stuck to her face, kind of rotten teeth, and kind of like just dirt, just water, just constantly streaming down. And got a staff. Is that there?
Who are you?
And there's just this spores kind of like swirl around you and kind of then settle on her. You've come from him. I tend this grove, this circle. And kind of, she's got really tight kind of like skin around her neck, and it's like, do you know, like gills underneath a mushroom?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, and you can't quite tell if that's just like fungus growing on her or if she's part fungus. Yeah, I can sense him. I can sense him with you. You're from Mask. Mask.
How would you know that?
My mother, the great Doctor Moy, has made league with Mask, our interests coincide this time. I'm the tender of this grove, this sacred area. But we are going to spread the spores from the servant mask out into the city. But
what will it do?
We'll use the chosen myconoids, brain meld spores. So those who breathe them in, or maybe eat the fungus, will be able to gather information from their minds and feed it down to the great chosen one below. He wants to understand what is happening in the surface world without having to leave his darkness.
Will it hurt them?
No,
the people?
no more than maybe a cough or some phlegm gathering in their throat. The very few of them will give up their nutrients back to us.
Very few of them.
Look at this. This is the biggest living organism in Waterdeep. Do you see all of these creatures here? And she kind of like just takes in the whole of the grove. This is all a single creature. Do you see the mushroom heads that are sprouting? That's all one creature. Do you know all the mushrooms? Have you not seen them? And they'll come in the spring. That's all one organism. We're the single largest living organism in Waterdeep. The meaty creatures will give some of their nutrients to us, but they take from us for their food stuff themselves. So, in an exchange, we're the losers of our body mass more than they are the losers of theirs. So do you have them? Do you have the spores?
I do.
Then
How do I know that I can trust what you're saying?
why do you fleshy creatures? What is it to trust? We can share a mind meld.
Is that thing that my companion does?
Yeah, the one you call Seat. He's gone by very many names, all of them insulting. But come, step closer. I will need to breathe my spores on you.
Okay.
And it tastes exactly as disgusting as you would imagine it to be. But you feel that slightly fuzzy kind of feeling in the back of your brain as you kind of join your mind a little bit with the human in front of you. But you feel on the edges of your sensations like a parasite within her. So something's kind of like growing through her body, and you can see in the misty shadows behind, it's almost like kind of like little fungal strings. But you're not quite sure if you're seeing this or you're imagining it in this slightly high induced dream state. You're lucid, but it is very much hyper real. And she kind of presents this image of the spores just kind of creating a very weak mind meld throughout some of the people of Waterdeep.
Did you say it's like it feels like a parasite?
Something is like leeching her life energy within her. I don't know if it's parasitical or whether she's invited it in or what have you, but it's kind of like a moss growing on a tree.
Okay. Is the meld over?
You kind of try to shake it away. Yeah, you kind of force it away. Take some really deep breaths. That doesn't really help you, and you just cough, kind of like a wet, throaty cough.
Could I try casting while I'm close to her lesser restoration on her?
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Okay, I do that.
So she'll get a save of some description, wouldn't she?
Well, you touch a creature and can end either one disease or one condition affecting it.
Okay, so what are you trying to...
The condition can be blinded, deaf, and paralyzed, or poisoned.
Okay. So yeah, so you reach out to her, you try to call upon the healing energies. She doesn't really notice anything. Which condition are you trying to remove?
Probably poisoned.
Yeah, there's some toxins in her body. Whether they're affecting her or not, you don't know. She doesn't really kind of like respond to it. So do you have the spores? We now is a good time to get them dormant, and then they can just spread through the nutrient channels.
This organism that you speak of.
This is the largest organism within the environs of the city. Spreads its way through the dirt.
So why do you need me to spread these spores for you?
Well, you've got them. If you give them to me, then I'll spread them. We can't penetrate the rock below. You hand her this like sachet that you've been carrying. Yes, I will deal with these. And she kind of puts them away. If you need anything from us, just return here. We can aid you.
Do you happen to have a cloak?
Of invisibility. I had one once.
Like you read my mind.
I had one once, but it got soaked, and I sacrificed it to the great lady.
Who is this great lady?
Se02.
I have made a horrible mistake. Tell me about her.
She is allied with your patron, and we are all her creatures. That is, I think, the sum of what you need to know.
What are your intentions now?
We will spread these spores, and that will allow the mind meld from the chosen micronoid to spread softly through the city, and information will seep back down to him so he can understand what is happening in the surface world.
And how long will that last?
A long while.
The people, will they be infected forever?
No, not forever.
Weeks, months, years?
It is unproven, but I think I've answered the questions. You, of course, have got a strong meld, and it's even possible that the Chosen could extend this information to you as part of the network.
Well, why didn't you say that first?
But go now, go.
I will go.
She kind of like walks back and resides against the wall of fungus, and you can barely tell that she's there.
I go for a shower immediately. The first place I can find that has somewhere with warm water.
There aren't very many places with warm water. I mean, there's probably some baths that you can go to in the sea ward.
Well, okay.
Yeah, so that'll cost you about 5 gold.
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. So out of character, essentially what you have here then is as these spores will start to proliferate through the city, you'll get a free use of the information gathered downtime action,
Oh,
which you can use once a week, and it'll allow you to understand, gather information about a specific topic, etc., from the surface world, and it'll be gleaned through a soft mind meld, as these people have got these spores in them, and it creates a mind meld through to Seat, who will then be able to share that with you.
oh, I love Saint.
Yeah, he's a lovely chappy, happy chappy that he is.
With a slightly weird kind of woman
Well, you know,
who I can't decide whether she worships him or what.
yeah, there we have it. So yes,
Okay.
so you'll get that.
Lovely.
Okay. That's all I had prepped, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's all I really wanted to do. I'm not planning on going and having a fracas with a green dragon anytime.
Well,
On
take
my
your
own.
adventuring party. Take your adventuring party. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. What could possibly go wrong?
Soon as that, whatever it is off it, we fucked.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, that's good hour. Good hour's worth. So I hope people enjoyed this. It's a little bit different than normal. Just kind of moving on some individual stories and such like. So next one will be Carrion. Cool.
Bye.
Bye.